Hello, we are live again from the Wisconsin Sports Heroics Facebook page, as well as the Wisco Fanatics Facebook page and YouTube channel. If you didn't catch the show last Friday instead of last Wednesday, we had a Friday special episode last week. You look in the bottom right-hand corner. We announced last Friday that we are now officially sponsored by Parker Johns, so we are very excited about that. We'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks and getting a little more involved with Parker Johns starting in July. So very excited to continue to tell you guys about that and some other stuff that we have coming up to go with that. So, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to talk about the Bucks and the Brewers today, but we are going to start with the Bucks. Bucks backs against the wall now. They lost last night in a game that definitely seemed winnable, and it just slipped out of the fingers. Call it what you want. If you want to say slipped out of the fingers, or say they choked, or they fumbled it away. Whatever you want to say, it's all true, and it all means the same thing.
Yeah.
The Bucks lost a game they could have won. So I want to talk about Game 5 first, because that was the more recent one, so it's fresher in the mind. Let's talk about Game 5. What did you see from Game 5, Jake?
Well, first of all, pain. Man, it hurts, man. I texted you last night, man. Sometimes, man, it hurts to care. But I just told you, and I still think there's some positives to take out of this, man. You got to try to take positives out of every situation. That's how you become better in life. That's how you become better in everything, right? Something I thought that was good is we're shooting better. We're making more shots than we usually make, especially the first half. They were really, really gelling. Had good ball movement. Something that I don't like, yes, thank you, George. Something that I don't like is when it starts to get tight. It doesn't seem like it's not just on Bud, it's not just on Giannis, it's not just on Chris, it's not just on any single person. It's on everybody collectively as a unit, right? Because sports are a team thing, right? That's why I always say that championships are a team award, not a single player. Some players have, more to say in the championships, obviously, but that's a whole different discussion. Something that I don't like is when they do a lot of one-on-one when the game starts to get tight. All of a sudden, they got it under 10. We're still taking the same shots. They got it to 7. It's taking the same shots. They tied it, taking the same shots. Now we're behind, taking the same shots. Me and you talked about this with Game 3, right? Going back a little bit. Game 3, they took the lead. It was a low-scoring affair. It was old school. When the Nets would score and take the lead, the Bucks still ran offense and would respond. That did not happen last night. They let Durant do whatever he wanted. He was getting screens, doing simple switches with Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton, every player in the book. They were like, okay, this guy's guarding that guy. Oh, you're gonna come set me a screen because I want to shoot a jumper over him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, why was there no adjustments? Just nobody in the Bucks is a one-on-one. That's true. There is nobody really that's a good one-on-one player. The best one-on-one player we have is Chris Middleton because he's a shot maker. The next best after that is Drew Holiday.
Drew, yep, I agree.
Giannis he's a one-trick pony. He's got a decent little mid-range. He went to it yesterday, didn't work out. Have no idea why he did that.
The wrong time.
Yeah, he absolutely bullied Jeff Green 2 times down there, and then he has a smaller guy on him in James Harden, who says that all he can do is dunk. Well, now's your time to prove that you can do more than just dunk. Put a post move on him, bully him,
or dunk on him.
Yeah, you could dunk on him and prove that he's right. I don't want to care in that moment.
What bothered me about that play specifically is that you get James Harden on him, and I think Giannis actually has pretty decent post footwork. Like, he gets called for a lot of travels, but he tiptoes around that gather step rule. But that play specifically, we talked about it when the Bucks had their back-to-back matchups in the regular season with the Nets, how when Giannis had Blake Griffin on him, and he did the post and he did the pump fake, and Blake Griffin jumped skied up in the air, and he did a step through and threw it down. James Harden is not a skilled defender. If you do that post fade and pump fake, Harden is jumping at that. And you have one step and a dunk or a layup. He was on the block, so he's probably dunking it. And then you're at a tie game, not a position where you need to foul after a missed jump shot.
I agree.
Like you said, as far as a one-on-one player goes, if we're talking about a fadeaway jump shot, I'd rather have Chris Middleton shooting it.
Yeah, me too.
Like we get that Giannis has improved as a mid-range post fade jump shooter. He's kind of adding that to his game, but it's not added to his game. He's adding, but it's not added. It's not part of
the bag. It's not in the bag, as the kids would say. It's not in the bag yet.
So that's not something you have to worry about when you're playing against Giannis. When you're playing against Giannis, you worry about transition and you worry about him with his back to the basket and a smaller defender on him.
I agree.
Like I said this going into the Miami series, that like Bam Adebayo is one of the only guys that I think can defend Giannis. If the Bucks get past Brooklyn, like Joel Embiid is going to be guarding Giannis, and guys like that are the guys that Giannis isn't going to bully, but those are guys that Giannis is faster than. So then he can kind of switch it up, bring them out, and try to drive past them. But the situation where you have James Harden on you and you don't just back him all the way down and then throw it down in his face, like I've seen him do it against Julius Randle, for example. I just don't understand what you're thinking in that situation.
Well, Greek Freak needs to post up and dunk on them little boys. Nobody. Yeah, I agree. We should be having Brooke down there more. To Tyler's point, we should be having Brooke down there. We should be having Drew go down there. They don't have Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving's not a good defender, but he at least was trying this series. At least he said he was going to go at Drew.
He's kind of crafty, at least. Like he at least knows when to try to poke the ball away.
Right. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know what Bud's doing sometimes, man. It seems like when KD starts to make a run, and there's that hilarious photo of Steve Nash hugging KD after the game, like, oh, thank you for saving my job. Because if you don't win with this team, what team are you going to win with, Steve?
Right.
But it seems like Budenholzer's kind of shitting his pants. I don't know what other way to explain it.
Dude, honestly, when you see him during quarters, halftime, post-game, pre-game, it doesn't matter what situation you talk to Budenholzer in, you get the same exact Budenholzer every single time.
Yeah.
And you get the super duper generic, like you could plug this discussion into the pre and post of any game in any sport, and you get we just got to play our game. We got to do what we do. We got to trust our habits, and we got to do this, and we got to do that better, and we got to make this, and it's super generic, and I'm tired of it.
He's from the top of his tree.
After game 1 and 2, I said I wanted to see some fire. We talked about it with Middleton as a player, that we want to see fire. We want to see enthusiasm. We want to make us feel like they want to win. George, I see you asking who's number 3 for the Bucks and why is he playing. Jake and I were actually talking about that right before the show started.
Yep.
Number 3 is Elijah Bryant. They signed him right before the end of the season. They've had their eye on him for a couple of years. He played with them in the summer league. So I'm not surprised that he's on the team, but what I am surprised is why he's playing in the middle of a third quarter of a series shifting game. And what I said to Jake was, I could see him playing, say that there's 13 seconds left in a quarter. Sure, you put him out there just so you don't get your starters another foul potentially. That's a situation where I could see using him, and they've done it with Thanasis, and it's a perfect situation to use him in.
Yep.
But why he's playing exactly? But why he's playing over, say, Jeff Teague absolutely baffles me. Because you signed Jeff Teague because he's got the experience with Budenholzer. He's been in the playoffs. He's been a starting point guard, and he's what I would say is a decent backup point guard.
He's a good backup.
I mean, why you're running Elijah Bryant out there instead of Jeff Teague, I don't know. I don't know. That's just another. Honestly, it's another nail in the coffin for Budenholzer, really. And if this ends up being a situation where the Bucks lose this series, I fully believe that Budenholzer will be fired.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Budenholzer will be getting fired. Me and you can guarantee that right now, right here on this live. Who's going to be the next head coach for the Bucks? That's a whole nother discussion that we can have. There's actually a lot of interesting candidates that are coming out right now.
I agree.
Scott Brooks he's not like the greatest coach of all time, but he's had some winning teams, play with a lot of talent.
You could put him on the staff.
What was that?
You could put him on the staff. I mean, you look at Brooklyn's coaching. Yes, Steve Nash is the head coach of that team, but Jacques Vaughn and Mike D'Antoni are assistant coaches. Those two have both been head coaches. So you basically have 3 head coaches.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, Lakers, they have Jason Kidd on theirs, and he's been a head coach. He's played in the league. And
Frank Vogel's actually a good coach too, I think.
Oh, yeah, I know. But he's not – I mean, Jason Kidd's on the staff is what I was meaning.
Right. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Obviously, I would prefer that the Bucks, win this series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals and then potentially to the finals and compete for a championship. But just the way that this series has gone and certain things that have happened in this series, like I still haven't let it go in game. I think that was game 1. Back in game 1, where Durant picked up his 5th foul late in the 3rd quarter, and they left him in. Why you don't try to get him his 5th foul before the end of the quarter? He'd have to go through the entire 4th quarter with only 1 foul to give. He's going to be playing soft defense the entire 4th quarter because he can't foul out.
I agree. Well, I wanted to make 2 points. For one, Jeff Green will never, ever shoot 7 of 8 ever again from 3. That's from 3. That's not total field goals. That's from 3. Jeff Green was really the person that kept him in that game in the first half. Katie got a bucket here and there, but every time they needed a bucket, it was a Jeff Green 3-pointer. I think he was 5 for 5 in the first half, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
KD, 49, 17, and 10. Never do that again. I mean, I've never seen KD have that. I mean, most of his assists had to be to Jeff Green because really nobody else on the team scored. Blake had 17. That's their 3rd highest score. So between KD, Jeff, and Blake, they had 93 of their 114. That's 21 points for the remaining 9 players that played in the game. I mean, and the second thing that I want to say, which is just points more to a total meltdown of the Bucks, is they outscored a 71-49 in the second half. That's a 22-point swing. We lost the game by 6 points. That is, and that's really just KD just calling for a pick and roll. And like I said, they're just straight up switching. I'm going to point out your comment that you said in the group chat yesterday. Is that okay?
Go for it, dude. I don't say anything.
Tyler said something very smart yesterday. When a guy gets to 40, you kind of just throw the game plan away. And you're kind of just like, all right, we got to figure this out right now because this guy's whooping our behinds right now. KD's getting out here doing pull-up jumpers on everybody. That one that he hit was just a total backbreaker. That one at the end of the shot clock from straight on, he like kind of flailed it up. I was like, oh, my God. That was really the nail in the coffin, in my opinion, because after that, it was just free throws.
Well, that made it a 4-point game.
Yeah, after that, it was just free throws. So there's just a lot of stuff that happened. Yesterday reminded me and gave me the feeling of the NFC Championship game. That's exactly what it felt like to me in my heart.
And I'm going to make the same point that I made after that. So
go ahead.
So what I said was ultimately, and this is what I believe about the NFC Championship game, and it's a similar but a little bit different point now, is that the officiating cost us this game, but you do not put yourself in a situation where you allow the referees to decide the outcome. So what I said with the Bucks was that the refs helped the Nets back into the game, but the Bucks let the Nets win the game. So the things that I have been pounding on for 2 months now are free throws and turnovers. It's free throws and turnovers. And I can't – I'm at a point where, like, I love Giannis. Absolutely love Giannis. But if I'm being real, he cost us the game at the end of the game yesterday. Like, if I was Brooklyn, I'd be following Giannis for the last 3 minutes of every single game because you have a 50-50 shot of him missing. Whereas when you see him near the restricted circle, he shoots like 70 or 80%. Like, he's Shaq level efficient in the restricted circle. So I would just follow Giannis the whole time. James Harden did that, and Giannis missed one of the 2 free throws. I mean, what are you going to let Giannis drive the lane for a dunk, or you just follow him and give him a 50-50 shot at scoring 1 point? So that, and then Chris Middleton got through the defense and dropped a pass to Giannis. Giannis, all he had to do was catch the ball and dunk it, and it would have been a tie game. And he let it go through his hands, and that's just sucks.
Yeah, that was the point where I covered my eyes. I was like, stop it, man. This is worse than any horror movie I've ever seen in my life because I care.
Yeah. The fouls they skewed in Brooklyn's favor. The Bucks had 24 fouls. The Nets had 19. So that's kind of where that went. The other thing that stood out to me before I respond to the points that you made, because I agree with them, is the rebounding. We talked about this going into a bunch of the games when we previewed them, is that the Bucks need to control the rebounds. The Bucks are one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. And you made an interesting point when you brought up the three-point shooting. Was that the last 2 games, the team that shot more threes is the team that's won. So it was the Bucks in Game 4, and the Bucks won. They shot more threes, and then Game 5, the Nets shot more threes, and they won. And what I made to that point, what I said to that point, was that the Bucks shooting less threes directly created less offensive rebounds, and that's something that the Bucks thrive on, is offensive rebounds. Guys like Pat, Thanasis, Dante, when he's obviously healthy. Those guys thrive on getting offensive rebounds and getting the Bucks second chance points. I mean, even Drew's had games where he's had 4 offensive rebounds. The Bucks had 4 offensive rebounds as a team yesterday. Only 35 total rebounds. They averaged 49 during the regular season. 35 rebounds. Brooklyn had 36.
Well, it doesn't help when Durant and Green are making everything. Not a lot of rebound opportunities.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. A team that's that offensively efficient, you have to control the rebounding. You have to give yourself more chances. And to that point about giving yourself more chances, you can't turn the ball over and then give the other team more chances. So the Bucks having 14 turnovers a game, you got to cut that down to 10 or less. Because Brooklyn's not turning the ball.
I'm going to say something that might help with the rebounding.
Go for it.
Are you there, buddy?
Yep.
So we said this a couple of games ago. Our Bucks fans were like trying to say it about playing a zone defense because they were killing us so bad. Well, now you might actually be able to do that with Harden not shooting as well as he was. And Harris hasn't really hit anything either, you know. Harden and Harris combined were 3 of 21 and 1 for 15 on threes. So maybe if you go to his own, that takes away the opportunity for Harden to just call for a screen and then just pull up for a mid-range because he knows Brooks going to be playing 5 yards off of him, you know. And what I want to ask you that I brought to you up before is we're just going to have Brook Lopez sit in the corner, right? And he played well. He did his job. I'm not saying Brook did anything bad. But if we're going to have a big man on the floor that's just going to sit in the corner and shoot, why not let it be Bobby Portis? I'm just saying. And Bobby Portis can post up too. I'm not saying he can't post up. But if we're not, why are we not posting up Brook Lopez? Why are we not posting up? Like, we could post up so many people. We post up Chris. We post up Drew, Giannis, Brook, Bobby. There's so many people on our team that can post up. I mean, in the first half, we were abusing Harden. I mean, even Pat Connaughton had a drive where
we got the lane. Yep.
Right. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that happened in this game that wasn't good.
Steve, I see your comment about Bucks being out coached. We talked about that when we first started. That if the Bucks lose this series, that Budenholzer is gone. I mean, it's really not going to come as a shock. If I had $1 for every time I saw somebody say fire Budenholzer, like I could probably like walk into the Bucks and be like, here's my stack of cash, make me the head coach. So your point about Joe Harris is something I wrote down about Jeff Green. Because what I said coming into the series, when we previewed the series as a whole, that an X Factor guy would be Joe Harris. And what happened last night is that Joe Harris space jammed his talent into Jeff Green. That's what happened. Jeff Green played the Joe Harris role. The role that I said where you have Kyrie, KD, and Harden that are going to do their thing. What you can't do is let a third guy get into the box score with 25 points. That's what Jeff Green did. Jeff Green did what Joe Harris normally does. And that's what hurt the Bucks. That's what hurt the Bucks in their first game against the Nets. And that's obviously what ended up happening here, is that they couldn't control the opponent three-point percentage. It was basically, to your point, though, like you said with Jeff Green, that it's probably not going to happen again. And I agree, and that reminded me of how Blake Griffin played in Game 1, where it's like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen again. I mean, Blake ended up having 17, like you said last night, but it wasn't.
Yep.
It was more of a volume thing than like a 6 of 8 type thing. And the Durant thing, like I said, I mean, you mentioned what I said in our group chat, that when a guy's got 40 points, I don't care that your defensive philosophy is to switch screens. At that point, you do anything it takes to stop the guy that's beating you. Because to one of your points that you made before about the second half versus the first half is something that I want to use the assist numbers to point out and continue on the point that you made, is that this was a tale of two halves, where the first half, the Bucks were moving the ball, playing well together, and they built a lead. The second half was all isolation for both teams, but it was Kevin Durant is making everything, and the Bucks are playing isolation basketball and shooting contested jump shots and turning the ball over and committing offensive fouls. That's not how the Bucks are built, and they're allowing Brooklyn to decide how the game is being played. The Bucks had 18.
Durant definitely took over the pace of the game.
And the Bucks, they're not a terrible half-court team, but that's not the way that their game is set. So when you're allowing the other team to score every single possession, you really get no transition offense. 18 assists on 41 made field goals is awful. Like, just straight up awful. It's not bad. It's not okay. It's almost as bad as you can be. 18 assists. Like we talked about it last week on Friday, that's only 3 more than we've had one player put up in single games this season. Drew's had 2 games, I think, of 15 assists, and Giannis has had a game of 15 assists. 18
just against Miami.
And then we look at Game 3, where, like you said, Brooklyn made a comeback. They tied the game. They took the lead. What did the Bucks do? They ran pick and roll with Middleton and Giannis. Use your 2 best players in the ways that they thrive, instead of letting Giannis just pull the ball out. Maybe once in a while he'll get a switch, but if a guy is sagging 8 feet off of Giannis, they can anticipate which direction he's going to go in. So that's not as effective as an offense as it is in say transition, where Giannis is ahead of steam and he can go around somebody or just over somebody. In a half court, it's a lot harder to try to figure out what you can do just going one-on-one. And that's why George was in the comments and he said the Bucks don't have a great one-on-one player. And that's why the Bucks are not a half-court team, because they don't have somebody that can just go and get you a bucket. And that's why when we were going into the postseason and I saw the Bucks were interested in signing Joe Johnson, it's like, actually, yeah, it might not be a bad idea. Because to the point that we made before about Giannis shooting that fadeaway over Harden, I'd rather have Joe Johnson taking that shot.
I'll tell you right now, there's 2 people that sound very interesting to me right now. One is Austin Rivers, because he can go get a bucket one-on-one, and he can shoot. He's not afraid of the big shot. He can go to the rim and he can finish. He can be a bucket one-on-one. 2, another guy that can get a bucket one-on-one is a guy who's hurt. Dante can take people off the dribble. My dad talked about this when I was talking to him about Game 4. He talked about how much better Giannis looked in a rhythm because he was moving without the ball. He was getting himself open without the ball, and we were to George's comment about Drew Holiday needs to control the ball more. We were letting Drew handle the ball more. It was everybody touching the ball. It was like, okay, well, I don't, okay, I'm going to look, I'm going to face up, I don't have it, okay, move it. Everybody screen, motion, move, backdoor cuts, shoot open 3, screen, off ball screen. Like, there's just so many ways that we can attack the Brooklyn Nets because they're not the best defensive team. And everybody talks about how their defensive screws are tightened up and all this stuff. No, we're making them look good because we're taking stupid shots and we're having stupid possessions.
Making it easy.
Yeah, we're making it easy. We're just like, okay, we're going to give it to this guy. He's probably going to Euro step, or he's going to shoot a jumper, or Chris Middleton's going to get in. He's going to shoot a jumper. It's like, why don't we keep everybody involved? First half, Pat Connaughton was taking people off the dribble. We were doing extra passes. I was like, man, we're going to smoke these guys today. We're going to go into Game 6, and we're going to send these boys packing. That's what I was thinking at halftime. That's not what happened. And now we're sitting here, and we're talking about it. We're breaking it down, all the possibilities, and there's about 1,000 different ways we can break this down and talk about what could happen, It is what it is.
So I wanted to do this, talk about Game 5, and then talk about Game 4 after that, because in my mind, Game 4 is the blueprint to win Game 6. The physicality was turned way up. The energy was up. The Bucks had the momentum, but they just didn't carry it into Game 5. I will say that Steve Nash and the Brooklyn Nets, aside from Kevin Durant, who actually said that it's playoff basketball, they're soft for complaining about PJ playing physical, because that's how PJ Tucker makes his money. He's known as a physical defender. He's a dog. We've talked about that going into this, playoffs. We actually have dogs on this team. So that to me struck me as the Nets being super soft, complaining about that, and that partially influenced the refereeing in this game. I said it in our group chat this morning that I don't think that the NBA is rigged, and I don't think that they're saying we need an LA and a New York team in the finals. I don't think it's rigged, but I think it's persuaded, where it's like, okay, you have a toss-up call between Brooklyn and Milwaukee, that you give the call to Brooklyn. And that, to me, is what happened during that Brook Lopez, James Harden foul last night, where James Harden grabbed the arm of Brook Lopez, and in trying to free himself up, Brook Lopez pushed Harden and fouled him. That was a foul. But when they go to review it, that they uphold that foul. That, to me, what I said to you, should either have been a double foul or no call at all.
And I told you I was 100% okay with a no call. I'm 100% with a no call because they both fouled each other.
And in a situation like this, like the fourth quarter was just all whistles. The Bucks got called for 8 fouls in the fourth quarter. 8 in the fourth quarter. That's a third of their fouls in a quarter of the game. There was just every single possession was a whistle. Like, let the guys play. Damn. That drives me nuts that it's just like the refs feel the need to make it about them instead of letting it be about the players. And that's where I agree with you on your point where, like I said, it should have either been a double foul or no foul. Like, just let it go. They're both fouling. Like, Harden's grabbing Brook's arm to slow him down, and Brook pushed Harden to make him get off. Like, just let it go.
So let me make a point real quick. I'm not saying this because we won. I'm saying this because it was a great basketball game. Game 4 between the Nets and Bucks was amazing TV. Absolutely amazing TV. It was physical. They were getting after it. Both teams were falling on the ground. To your point about Nash, complaining. First of all, disgraceful because he played in the 90s. And legitimately every player and fan of basketball that watched the 90s says it was great because it was physical. I enjoy physical basketball games in the playoffs because that's what I think of when I think of playoff basketball. I think of people going at it, getting dirty, and a little extra elbow on the box out. Like, I love that. I live for that. When I play basketball and I was able to get into a guy a little bit more, oh, yeah, okay, I'm ready now because I'm really a football player, man. I'm not built to play basketball. But I find it funny that they're complaining about that, and we're the guys that had a guy bleeding from his eye. Did you see Pat complaining about the physicality? Was anybody on the Bucks complaining about the physicality? They played in the same game.
Did you see him when he was sitting on the floor? That he's sitting there, his eyes bleeding, and he just goes, nothing.
I mean, could you maybe call the foul? Yeah. Am I mad that they didn't? No. It is what it is. Yeah, it wasn't like he ran up to him like Jokic. Yeah. By the way, the Jokic thing, that was bullshit. You don't throw him out for that. But did you hear what his brother said to Booker? I'm going a little bit off topic. Did you hear what his brother said to Booker?
No.
It's very inappropriate. I will text you later. He said it in another language, but it is funny. I cackled. It was very good. Griffin grabbing Tucker was not called. I don't remember that play. Are you talking about Game 4, Dad? I don't remember that play. But about Game 4 here, a lot of positives in that game, man. They let the players decide it.
Yep.
At the end. Oh, I didn't see that. Maybe that was when I covered my eyes. I don't remember. They let the players decide it, and that's what we want. That's what the fans want. If the Bucks would have lost that game, I would have been like, you know what? We didn't lose because of a shitty call. And that's it. When we have that excuse, because we keep going back to it for the NFC Championship game. We keep going back to that because we have that as an excuse. Something that happened that we felt like we got screwed out of it, I don't want that feeling. If the Bucks just simply aren't good enough, let them be not good enough.
Yep.
That's what I want. If the Packers simply aren't good enough to beat the Buccaneers, let that be it. But coaching and refereeing. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that now. I do remember that. He's right. That was on that free throw. Do you remember that play now?
No, yeah.
I remember. I know what you're talking about now. They did not call that. You're right. But anyways, I lost my train of thought for a second. I'm so sick of bad coaching, not being aggressive. Yeah, I don't want excuses, man. If we're not good enough to beat the Nets, then let that be. But they have 1.5 of their best 3 players right now. And Harden really, I wouldn't even call him a half because the whole point of his game is to score and set people up, right? He doesn't even have that right now.
I mean, he still had 8 assists last night, so I'll give him that. He affected the game still.
Yeah, I mean, one of his assists was that really good back screen by KD for Shamet. That was a nice play by KD. And KD was balling last night.
They set a backdoor screen on.
Yeah, I ain't taking nothing away from KD.
Just got a layup out of it.
Yeah. He balled out. Oh, it was Joyce. You're right. He balled out yesterday, man. He made shots. Bucks made it really easy for him, man. Just simple switches and game 4. Bucks. The refs let us decide what was going to happen. PJ got into his jersey. He used 5 of his 6 fouls. My dad always talks about, in the olden days, they used to have somebody come off the bench and just rough you up. That could be Thanasis, in Game 6. Thanasis, you come in here, and Durant goes up for a damn jumper, make his arms hurt. Okay? I'm okay with that. It's playoffs, man. We're trying to win a damn championship. We're down 3-2. And I said this to you earlier, man. Game 5, we could have won. Game 1, we could have won. Game 2, we got smacked. We won Game 3. We're kind of lucky to win Game 3. We could have lost that game. Game 4, I feel like we controlled that game most of the time. But there's 2 games that we could have won, and there's 1 that we could have lost. So to me, we should be up 3-2. That's how I feel in my heart. Maybe that's the homerism in me. I don't know what it is. But we should not have lost that game last night.
I agree.
It's bothering
me. We mentioned a couple times that the Bucks, their shot selection, it makes Brooklyn look like a good defensive team just because we're taking bad shots. As far as Game 4 goes, I I want to give a huge shout out to Pat Connaughton, who had 4 steals and 2 blocks that game. He was one of the MVPs of the game, in addition to PJ playing really good defense on Durant. I foresee this is what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking it. I see Game 6 being more like Game 4 than Game 5 because partially we're back at home. Then we're still in that situation where they say the series doesn't start until a road team wins a game. I mean, we're still in that situation. We came home down 0-2, and we won 2. We lost on the road, and now we're coming home. So we got to win, and then we got to go win on the road. I said it when we talked about it. I think this is going to be a 7-game series, and that's the way it's trending right now, honestly, because the 3-point shooting did improve. So, I mean, the Bucks are at least trending in the right direction as far as 3-point shooting is concerned. They just need to get better looks. The other thing is 2 days of rest. You're traveling east to the Midwest. Durant played all 48 minutes last night. James Harden played 45 minutes last night on a hamstring that he wasn't testing until earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So that's 45 and 48 minutes, and you don't get an extra day of rest with the travel. I think that's going to affect them, and I think you're much more likely to see Durant shoot 8 for 25 again than you are to see him go off for 49 again.
I'm going to stand by my statement. He will never have another 49, 17, and 10 game because that was just honestly some heroic stuff, man. That was one of the craziest playoff games, crazy playoff performances I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen a lot of good ones, man. Some Steph Curry, some LeBron James, Kyrie Irving's in the finals. Like, I've seen a lot of good ones. Kobe Bryant in the playoffs. Like, Kevin Durant last night was a man amongst boys.
And it wasn't even the whole game.
He brought it to us.
He did that almost entirely in the second half.
I know. Like I said, man, he controlled. He took over the pace of that game in the second half. He really did. Jeff Green kept him in it, and KD was the knockout punch. Now, Jeff Green was the jab, jab, jab. Every once in a while, a little Blake Griffin on some ball movement dunk and a putback every once in a while. But KD was the knockout punch. And I'm sorry, but these superstars get paid a lot of money, right? And for some of it, I agree because, something that people don't think about is these players bring a shit ton of money to their communities. You know how much money Giannis brings to the city of Milwaukee?
Dude,
just by going to the games and making the bars active. Yeah. Like, think about Packer game days. Green Bay's amazing, right? Parker Johns just built a brand new restaurant in Green Bay next to Lambeau. So there's a little plug for you. They did that partially because Green Bay brings a lot of money, or the Packers bring a lot of money to Green Bay. And Parker Johns wanted to be part of that. Parker Johns is a great restaurant, by the way. You guys should stop in there on Wednesdays. Wing Wednesday, $11.99, all you can eat wings. Yeah, you're welcome. That was smooth. What I was going to say is Giannis needs to step up. He is an MVP. He is now a 3-time all defensive first team, I believe. 1-time second team all defense. He's a 3-time first team all NBA player. He's made an all rookie team. He's won 2 MVPs. The list goes on and on. The man's only 26 years old and he's amazing. Gets a lot of recognition for what he does. Kevin Durant is looked at as the best player in the league. Yeah, it just came from Giannis's mouth. They say to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? Giannis got a lot of credit because last year, Jimmy Butler was busting our behinds, and Giannis didn't guard him. So last series, what happened? Giannis went on Jimmy Butler and made life tough. Giannis needs to guard KD. We can start PJ Tucker on him. We can keep PJ on him for the majority of the game. Excuse me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Giannis, we could switch Giannis on him. We could switch Chris on him. We need to give him different looks. He's getting too comfortable in this series. I'm gonna go up to a point, and I'm gonna work off it. So just give me a chance here. Draymond Green talked about how taking the ball out of Giannis's hands, as the ball handler, is a good move for the Bucks because it's too predictable of an offense. When you allow a guy like KD to just go against 2 people, he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna, and we're going into game 6, so they know how they're defending stuff now. There's no more secrets. There's no more tricks. It's this guy's guarding this guy. This guy's guarding this guy. He's over here on offense. He's over here on defense. You figure all that stuff out by this point. We got to put Giannis on him for, I would say, at least almost half the game tomorrow. So KD can get some different looks. I mean, we tried it a little bit in the game too, and KD got that one layup, and that was a great play by him. But Giannis really needs to step up on the defensive end. I don't care if he scores 30 points. I really don't. Giannis could legitimately score.
That's not news.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant scores 30.
Giannis could score 20 points off dunks alone, just dunks. 20, 25. He could score that just off dunks. He doesn't need to score 30 for us to win. What he needs to do is play defense and help control the boards. Yep. Those are the two things that I'm looking for Giannis for the next 2 games. They are going to win Game 6. If they lose, I'll take it. I really think that we've already won Game 6. I think we've won already tomorrow night. We're going back home, backs against the wall. I think they'll feel the energy from the crowd and the points that you've said. I didn't even think about the plane ride because that's a real thing, man. The jet lag is a real thing.
Going from east to west, it affects you more than it does going from west to east.
Right. I know. I remember talking to my dad about this when I went out for Jason's wedding in October. And I talked about how I was so tired, man, that first day I got out there. And my dad brought it up, and my dad's taught me everything I've known about sports. He told me, now you know why they say it's so tough for East Coast teams in the NFL, like the Jets, to go out to play, like, say, Seattle. It's tough, man. That jet lag is a real thing. You're really tired. You're exhausted. Just the mental clock in your head is just different. Like, it's tough. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I agree with you. I think Game 4 is more the blueprint of how to win this game. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Game 4 type game as opposed to a Game 5 type game. My other thing that I want to say is, like, in addition to playing different defense on Durant, trying to force him into some turnovers like they did do in Game 4. And like I said, your back's against the wall. They need to play like it. Budenholzer needs to coach like it. My last thing that I want to say before we move on to the Brewers is, if you get a lead, hammer on the lead. Don't play this Mike McCarthy bullshit where you try to protect your lead and start trying to win. Play to win by 50.
The Nets did Game 2. What'd they do Game 2?
Dude, if you have a lead, grow your damn lead. Don't try to protect your lead. That's the Mike McCarthy style of coaching. We're not going to play to win. We're going to play to not lose. The playoffs is not the time to do that. An elimination game is not the time to do that. Play to beat them by 50. Don't play to win by 10.
I'll tell you something else my dad taught me. Told me this a long time ago. He said prevent defense prevents you from winning. And that can go into every single sport. Put your foot down, put some pressure on their damn throat, and cut the damn circulation off. Sick and tired of this. We got, oh my God, I'm going to get emotional, man. Because we have nobody we're dogs, right? We have nobody with a killer mentality. Kill them. I'm so sick of this crap, man. God. We have so many talented players in this damn state, dude. Obviously, we have the MVPs. We have the hardware to show for it. But we have no finishers. We have nobody who knows how to finish. And that's one thing I'll always give credit to Brady for. As much as I hate him, the man finishes. Kobe Bryant known as a killer because he knew how to finish. Same thing with Jordan. We need somebody that knows how to finish the damn job.
And that's what Durant is doing.
Yeah, he's a finisher, man. He learned that when he went to Golden State. He learned how to win a title. And it's the same thing that happened to LeBron when he went to Miami, right? He learned from D. Wade. He learned how to finish. And where D. Wade learned that from? In my opinion, it was Pat Riley.
Yeah, Pat Riley and Shaq.
Yeah, they passed that down to him, and he passed it on to LeBron, and it just keeps getting passed and passed and passed. Durant knows how to finish. We have no finishers.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Brewers, man. That's less stressful. I'm mentally exhausted.
I mean, we've said everything that we want to say. We mean what we say. It is less stressful to talk about the Brewers because they're in the middle of their season, but it's not a sunny conversation versus the clouds that were the Game 5 situation with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because the Brewers, they were playing really, really well from the stretch where they traded for Willy Adames until just basically Sunday. They just finished sweeping the Pirates, and then they get swept by the Reds. They said it during the TV broadcast today that the Brewers haven't been swept at home since 2016.
Holy camole. I didn't get a chance to watch the game today.
I was at the game on Saturday. That game was really fun to be at. Like the first two innings really, really sucked because we were down 4-0 in the second inning. Which I want to say about that is that Corbin Burns, I swear to God, he has the worst luck. Like, he has the worst luck. I texted you that. Because the first 3 hits that he gave up was like a bloop single that fell right in between Vogelbach and I believe Robertson was playing right field.
Yeah.
It wasn't Avi that started in right field that day. That ball just like fell in. Then there was another single that just like dribbled down the first baseline because Daniel Vogelbach has the agility of a truck. So
I said a refrigerator. Pretty close on both.
Refrigerator, yep. Yeah. So that was that. And then another ball gets like swinging bunted right in front of Burns, and he makes a throwing error and throws the ball into right field. So like that right away, like just really sucked on Saturday. But the Brewers, they chipped away. They cut the lead to 4-2 in the third inning, cut the lead to 4-1 in the second inning, cut the lead to 4-2 in the third inning, and then in the fourth inning they put up a 5 spot.
Yep.
That was really encouraging. I was like, oh, maybe the Brewers offense is turning a corner. They drew a bunch of walks. Willy Adames hit a double. Yelich hit a double. And then Omar hit a single and drove in Adames. Which I just want to say, as soon as we traded for Willy Adames, I defended the trade. We fleeced the Rays in that trade. Because not only is Willy Adames like a huge catalyst for this team turning around and bringing back the beast mode thing, and the Brewers are something like since May 22nd, they're like 20-6 now, something like that, since they traded for Willy Adames.
Mm-hmm.
And Urias has played better in that time. We lost Travis Shaw, but I mean he hasn't played that well anyways. But Vogelbach is playing better. He's hit safely 8 of his last 10 games, and in one of the games that he didn't get a hit, he drew 2 walks, so he's still getting on base a bunch. Omar Narvaez definitely deserves to be an all-star. He's a great offensive catcher. He's a great defensive catcher. He's a great pitch framing catcher. So he's literally doing it all. And Yelich is kind of improving, but I mean overall, the way that this team has been since we've got Adames is just awesome. And then you look at the guy that we got thrown in with him, Trevor Richards. His last 2 outings have been great. On Saturday, he came into the game with the bases loaded from Corbin Burns. He came in bases loaded. He struck out 3 dudes in a row with the bases loaded.
No, I watched that game.
And then he went out and pitched another scoreless inning. And then today he pitched 2 innings scoreless. So Richards has actually been a lot better lately. I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but guess how many wins Brent Suter has?
8.
He has 8. He has 8 wins. Like, what? He pitched a third of an inning the other day and got a win.
I know, against the Pirates. I know, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was like, he just gets so many wins, bro.
I hope that he keeps it going. Like, he keeps his momentum going because, like, I love the way that he pitches. I love his change of pace and, like, his attitude. I love Brent Suter so much. He's awesome. What I want to bring up is Brandon Woodruff. He pitched on Friday, and he got to like the 5th or 6th inning only with like 50 pitches. He was actually getting contact. Like, Brandon Woodruff's a power pitcher. He's got 98, 99 mile an hour fastball stuff. He's a power pitcher. He pitches for strikeouts, and he was getting a lot of contact. So I'm going to make a bold statement here that Brandon Woodruff will throw a no-hitter this year. I'm going to say it now. We'll see what happens.
That's pretty bold.
We'll see what happens, but like the way that he pitched versus the way that he has pitched versus the way that he is capable of pitching, I think it's going to happen for him this year. Like, the stars will align, we'll have a good defensive lineup in, and we'll be healthy. Like, maybe it's a day where Lorenzo Cain is back healthy and he's playing center field, and we throw Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field and have, just insane defense. And Colton Wong is healthy, and Willie Adames is playing shortstop, and Luis Urias is playing third base, where he's been decent this year, actually. Yeah, I'm going to throw it out there that I think Brandon Woodruff is going to throw a no-hitter this year.
It's going to have to be against the Pirates because they suck. The Reds can hit. The Cubs can hit, actually. I'll give them credit for that. I mean, maybe against the Cardinals right now because they're all banged up. I mean, the Cardinals are playing pretty bad right now. It could happen against the Cardinals. I don't know. I mean,
they play the Rockies this week.
I'm not going to say it's that crazy because Brandon Woodruff is that good, I think. Like, he should have a no-hitter. What I'm wondering, because I didn't even think to look this up, when is the last Brewers no-hitter?
Oh, God. It's probably still Juan Nieves.
I'm going to look it up because I want to know. I'm going to look it up.
I think it's like 95 or 85.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Last Brewers no-hitter. Okay, let me see. 1987.
87.
Now, you guys see my dad in the comments? Dad, I love you very much. My dad graduated high school that year.
You and I were not alive.
I was not. I was that was 5 years before I was born.
Yeah. So did you see who it was? Was it Juan Nieves?
Doesn't say. Oh yeah, it does. It's Juan Nieves.
Hey, all right. I got half credit.
That's the only Brewers no-hitter.
Yep.
Huh.
I think they've had like combined no-hitters since then, but I mean that doesn't really count.
The record for most strikeouts for the Brewers is Ben Sheets, right?
I think it was like 15 or 16.
I thought he had like 18, bro. I thought he had like 18 strikeouts one day. I swear to God.
All right, I'm gonna look it up now. All right, you looked up that. I'll look this up.
Let me see. Hang on. Yeah, it's 18, dude. I knew that.
All right, you looked it up faster than I did.
I knew that today. Ben Sheets 18 strikeouts was still the franchise record. I knew that. I remember watching that when I was a little kid there.
Ben Sheets was one of my dad's favorite players, actually.
Dude, I used to love Ben Sheets. He used to have the fastball and the 12-6, boy. He was nasty with the 12-6. He just
got hurt too much.
Yeah, he did. Well, I guess it'll be my turn to talk some Brewers baseball. You covered a lot of it, man. They played great against the Pirates. They looked really good. The Pirates are terrible. And then something that always bothers me when fans are like, we get real fans, because me and you, we're dealing with the hardship of the Bucks right now. So, of course, when we beat the crap out of a shitty team, we're going to be like, yeah, man, let's go, baby, Bucks, The Pirates suck. We know that. We're still going to be excited.
Yep.
When you play bad against a good team, it's kind of like, okay, they're good. When you play good against a bad team, it could be something that could springboard you. You know what I mean? Yep. You can learn something from every situation.
Build momentum. You feel good that you're winning.
Right. We go into this Red series, and we lose 10-2 game one. That's rough. That was just a bad game, man.
Yeah.
There was 4 pitchers the Brewers used. 3 of them gave up a run. Lauer and Milner gave up 4 each. Yardley gave up 2. There's your 10 right there.
Yeah, I'm so glad Yardley's back down to AAA.
Who's that?
Said I'm so glad Yardley's going back down to AAA.
Yeah, he's not good, in my opinion.
Not a fan. I texted you that Yardley on Saturday when Yardley came in. I'm like, not excited about this.
Yeah.
But he got like a 10-pitch inning, and he was out of the inning, so I was glad for that.
Well, then game 2, they lose 2-1. That was a crazy, crazy defensive play by Adames yesterday. You see that throw that he made? That was nasty. Yeah. He's got a
couple throws like that this year.
Dude, he's got such a good, accurate, strong arm, dude. Like, he is a monster out there.
Yeah, he's only 25 years old, and he's under team control for 3 more years.
I know.
He's the Rays, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about Brewers baseball right now. I mean, I think we're still in a good spot. The offense, just took a crap this series. That happens every once in a while. You just don't get the hits. The Reds had our number this series. Who do we play next? I don't remember.
Colorado Rockies. Exciting thing
Yeah,
about
I do
that.
remember that. And Colorado sucks.
Thing about
They're
the
like the
Rockies.
Pirates. So we'll probably win all those games.
Also get a chance to look at a potential trade target, CJ Cron. The Brewers should be looking at him for a potential first baseman. Colton Wong should be back this weekend. He was taking batting practice and running bases yesterday, so he should be back this weekend. So I'm very looking forward to that. And then the Brewers got Hunter Strickland from the Los Angeles Angels for cash considerations. When they announced that this trade, I was like, Hunter Strickland, that name sounds familiar. Do you remember what Hunter Strickland did?
Yeah, he fought what's his name that one time, right?
Yeah. He punched Bryce Harper in the face.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we
when
got
Harper
that guy
threw his helmet like a doofus.
He threw his helmet and Strickland punched him in the face.
Dude, I thought he was gonna throw it at him. I'm like, well, if you're gonna take it off and throw it, you might as well throw it at him. No, he throws it like all the way in the right field. Like, what are you doing,
dude? So yeah, we got that guy coming to the Brewers. Colton Wong should be back. So we got that going for us too. Like I said, take a look at CJ Cron. Hopefully we can get him. The way that the Brewers are going is that they're still winning games even though they're not playing their best baseball.
I agree.
So if we're gonna hope for continued improvement. Like I said, Urias is doing better. They're bringing back the beast mode thing, so they're having more fun. Yelich is really slowly improving. He's not improving at like a steady clip yet. He's improving really slowly. But baseball is the longest season of all. So, I mean, if there's a sport where you're going to have a guy slowly improve, I mean, baseball is probably the one. Today, the offense, I mean, they gave guys off days just because it's a Wednesday game in the series where you already lost the first two. Going forward, the other thing I wanted to bring up with you mentioned Eric Lauer. I saw a lot of people questioning why Eric Lauer was even pitching, and it's because the Brewers only have one more off day before the All-Star break. So they kind of went with a six-man rotation kind of thing, just to try to give guys an extra day before their next start. So that's why Lauer started that game. Adrian Hauser, very, very serviceable pitcher. As far as our fourth pitcher goes, like Adrian Hauser's not a bad guy to have. He's actually pitching pretty well this year as far as his standards are concerned. So with that in mind, like I don't think the Brewers need to trade for a starter just because their other three starters make the other two look like they're not that great. But then you flip it over again, and then Brett Anderson threw another gem last night. He threw 7 innings, only gave up 1 hit. And then Freddie Peralta pitched today. He pitched 7 innings, only gave up 2 runs. He gets a loss today, which is just kind of unfortunate because the offense couldn't come through for him. But he only gave up 5 hits. Something that was weird to me was that all 5 of those hits came with 2 outs. Which is, there's 2 ways to look at it. You can be like, hey, the hits didn't hurt you, but you can also look at it like, hey, Freddie finished the inning and you could have pitched longer. That's why guys are getting pulled after 7 innings is because of their pitch counts. Like Counsell's letting them go, like I said last week, he's letting them go a little closer to 100 pitches than 90. But if fans want to see guys pitching later into games when they're pitching well, they got to keep that pitch count down. Looking at last night, Anderson only gave up 1 walk. Going the night before on Monday, Lauer gave up 4 walks. Going 2 days before that on Saturday, Burns gave up 3 walks. Just getting that deep into pitch counts all the time, that just raises your pitch count up. And I don't know if that's something the Brewers are trying to do to opposing pitchers, because I have not seen a Brewers swing at a first pitch. I don't remember the last time. I swear every single Brewer takes the first pitch. And a lot of times, especially for guys like Jackie Bradley Jr., it's probably the best pitch you're going to see. So, I don't know. We're in kind of the middle part of the season with the Brewers where it's like all right, these are the things that got to improve. Let's see if they can improve them.
Yep.
And the things that they're doing well just need to keep doing well. Where the Brewers are in the standings, it's kind of turning into a 4-team race for the NL Central, and the Brewers are going to be active at the trade deadline. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think we just need a good power guy. I think we need a power guy. I'm not gonna lie. I think we need a real cleanup hitter.
Yeah, Willie Adames batted cleanup the other day. It was kind of weird. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Like, I'm with it. Like, I would much rather see him batting cleanup than like seventh. Like, he's been batting well seventh. And this is weird because I questioned it, and I was like, why is Vogelbach still batting number 2? And Willie Adames is batting number 7? Because I think switching those around just seems like a more logical batting order.
I think Adames would be amazing in the 2-hole, right above.
I agree. Dude, if you go Urias, Adames, Yelich, Narvaez, that's a beastie top 4. I like that a lot. And then they flashed a stat up on Friday about Daniel Vogelbach, and I extended it now until today. The Brewers are 20-7 with Daniel Vogelbach batting second. I know. That's the reaction I had too. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Council, do your thing. It seems really weird.
Vogelbach staying in the 2 spot.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
So I guess what I would think is that days that Luis Urias is not playing, that you have Willie Adames lead off. Because I don't want to see Daniel Robertson and Jace Peterson leading off anymore. They're both bad. Jace Peterson is awful, but Daniel Robertson is bad.
Yeah, I don't like. I was gonna text you that when you're at the game. I don't like that Peterson guy.
He does not have a lot of fans. I'm looking forward to Colton Wong being back because I think that means that Jace Peterson is going back to AAA.
I agree.
Just gonna go ahead and clean up the comment section a little bit here.
Hey man, positive or negative comments is still a comment, baby. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it, my man.
All right. Well, I guess what I would encourage people to do is not freak out and overreact to a recency bias, because I see it so often where like Anderson's last 2 starts were starts where he was coming back from injury, and it's, oh, Anderson sucks, and then Anderson goes and pitches a gem like he did last night, and people are like, oh, Anderson looked great last night. It's like, you just got to not freak out and react to one short, tiny, small sample size and look at the thing as a whole. This is Anderson's second outing where he's gone 7 innings and only given up 1 hit. He's done that twice this year.
He's good for a 5, I think. He's not amazing.
He's left-handed and he pitches for soft contact, so he's a contrast to our other pitchers.
Yeah.
Burns, Woodruff, Peralta are power pitchers, strikeout guys, and then Hauser and Anderson are soft contact, ground out type pitchers. So that works. And it obviously works for the Brewers because we have one of the worst offenses, but are still like 9 games over 500. So we'll find out what happens. I'm pulling for Omar Narvaez to be an all-star because I definitely think he's deserving. He's great offensively, he's great defensively, and he's a really good pitch framer. So I'm definitely cheering for Omar All-Star. Hope that happens. I hope that becomes a thing. And then we'll see. Like I said, I think the Brewers are going to be active at the trade deadline, so that'll be coming up too. You got anything else?
This has nothing to do with Brewers or Bucks, but I wanted to throw something. I didn't even give you a preview. I wanted to know what you thought of Rogers with the golf talk the other day. Did you read it? Did you see that at all?
I saw some of it. Honestly, I have like less than 0 interest in golf. I think it's a napping sport. I just don't have the patience for it. Like, I like the faster paced sports. Like even baseball, like if it's a Sunday afternoon, like I might fall asleep during a baseball game. But like basketball, football, hockey, like those are really fun. They're fast paced. I just don't have the patience for golf. But I guess if Rodgers is talking about golf and not the Packers.
No, you hear that jab that Brady threw at the Packers, though? I mean, it's all about that, man. It's all about LaFleur. It's all about Murphy. I think Murphy's got to go, personally. After he made that comment about Rodgers being a difficult fella, I'm like,
complicated fella.
Complicated, sorry. Do you want to know what I thought when he said that? I was like, this dude's got to go. He is so out of touch with how the world works now, with the way that he's talking. He's got to go. I don't know, man. I think Murphy's part of the problem. I think he may be part of the reason. Yeah, I think he might be, part of the reason why Favre got ran out of town. And now he might be part of the he's probably the reason why, Rodgers is feeling the way that he is,
When I saw that, like, I ignored it because it just, like, instantly irritated me. Where it's like, did you not think before you spoke? Like when you think, do you just blurt that out? Like, what do you think he's gonna think about that?
Yeah.
Like, you literally, like, that is not gonna make any part of this situation any better at all.
No, nothing.
No, I'm gonna say it anyways. Like,
yeah. I don't know, man. I will say I still love the Packers. I'm happy with a lot of the news that I'm hearing out of the training camp, or the whatever camp. I can't think right now because I'm still upset about I'm literally just thinking about the Bucs 24/7 right now. But I have been trying to keep up on my Packers news and reading what players are doing and seeing that Bakhtiari is rehabbing, and Adams was working on the sideline by himself the other day, and Eric Stokes actually did a really nice interview the other day. Talked about Jair and how he's learning a lot of stuff from Jair. So I like hearing that kind of stuff. Or from our first round pick, a guy that I think is just immediately when I looked at him, I'm like, he's raw talented. So I think that's good that he's learning from a guy like Jair. So I think the Packers are still going to be a force. I think the Bucs are going to win Game 6. And then I'm going to go to my dad's house on Saturday, and I'm going to watch the Bucs win Game 7. And we're going to play the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, that Hawks-Sixers series is really weird. If you didn't know, you're watching, we do have a pie bet going for the NBA playoffs. Jake and I both have the Suns advancing pretty far. I have them in the finals. Jake had them losing to the Lakers. And then we both have the Bucks in the finals as far as the pie bet is concerned. We'll see what happens with that. But we'll have more updates coming on that soon. We'll be talking more Packers soon. There's a lot going on. But I agree. I think the Bucks are going to win tomorrow night. And Game 7 is just going to be a fight. It's going to be both teams, their season's on the line. We agreed that we think whatever team wins this series is winning the title, and I stand by that. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be fun to watch, honestly. It's going to be stressful, but it'll be fun to watch. But yeah, and then the Brewers, they play the Rockies this weekend, so they got some winnable games. They got some more winnable games for the rest of June. Just got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yep, and the Cubs play the Mets again tonight, so hopefully the Mets can win and we can go back into a tie for first or take the lead or whatever it is because we have the tiebreaker over the Cubs. I wanted to plug one more thing. Plug one more thing real quick. Tyler and I, with our sponsorship with Parker Johns, by the way, thank you again, Parker Johns. We're very excited about this opportunity. We're going to be giving away a $25 gift card every month. We still haven't really decided how we're going to do that because it doesn't start until July 1st. But with that, we're also going to be making some T-shirts, some hats. So if you guys want some stuff, send us some messages, comment, do whatever you got to do. Get a hold of us. You can comment our personal pages if you really want to. I'm Jake Nett. That's Tyler Schickert. We're not afraid to say our names. It's our podcast. We own this. We're rocking this. We're excited. Not next week. Nope, the week after. Okay. I'm a little ahead of myself. But, yeah, we're just really excited to talk some sports. And we're going to come with you every Wednesday. And maybe pretty soon in the future, we'll be doing 2 episodes a week. So that's something to look forward to. Just wanted to do a little foreshadow for you.
The other one will be once a month, but
once a month. Oh yeah, that's once a month. Sorry about that.
Easy, Tiger.
Hey, I'll do it 5 days a week. I don't really care. I'll talk sports all day, every day.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal is to just talk sports all the time. So we'll see. That's the goal. But I mean, that's what we're here for. We love talking about sports, and we like the discussion. And there's obviously, we just talked about this on Friday. We had our last episode. It's only been 5 days, and we've been talking for over an hour.
I know.
And it's just the two of us, and then responding to some comments. I mean, we're going to go into our second season of Packers. We started this right at the end of last September, and so we didn't even have the Packers preseason when we started this show last year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're going to have lots of discussion. So anybody that loves all your Wisconsin sports, we talk Packers, Badgers, Bucks, college basketball for the Badgers and Marquette. We want to talk more about the Admirals. They opted out of their season last year. I want to try to get Jake into hockey. I want to see if I can get Jake into hockey because we don't have a professional team here in Wisconsin, but we do have the minor league team for the Nashville Predators, which is why my wife and I are Predators fans. So I want to see if I can get Jake into hockey. And yeah, we got some more exciting news coming up, stuff that we're working on, and more stuff that we want to do. So yeah, just keep interacting with us. That's why we do the show live, is so that you can comment and we can respond to your comments live. That's honestly, I think probably our favorite part about doing this is like Jake and I can just talk about sports with each other all the time.
Yeah.
But now we're doing this together because we wanted to since we were in high school, and we enjoy having the live commenting with it. You know, we could just do a podcast and put out an hour and 15 minutes of us talking, and you could just listen to us talk for an hour and 15 minutes. But we like the fact that people can comment on the videos while we are doing them, and that's why we do it live. So yeah, we're gonna be live again next Wednesday, and let's go Bucks, let's go Brewers.
Yes, sir. And for anybody that sees that Tyler Wilkins comment, he's a Cubs fan, and I have a $50 bet with him about the Brewers and Cubs who will finish better. So let's go Brewers. All right, my man. You take care. Have a good night, all right?
Talk to you next week.
Later, buddy.